Hello everyone. In previous video, we had discussed about the ER diagram, different notations and different components to draw the company database. And here we have a entity set also. In entity set, we have a different types of the entities, strong entities as well as weak entity. Entity with the primary key, it is a strong entity. Entity without primary key, it is a weak entity. And different types of the relations. Here we have a participation constraint, full participations as well as partial participation in the relationship that we had noticed. That notation for the full participation is the two line, whereas a partial participation, it will be single line. So now here we have a weak entity and strong entity. When it is a weak entity, the weak entity is not having its own primary key. So in order to get its identity, unique identity, it will take the support of the strong entity, neighboring strong entity. For the department, the strong entity is the employee. So here for dependents, strong entity is the employee here. Now here we have a dependent, it will get its identity through the employee attribute, primary key attribute. So now the relationship between this dependent weak entity as well as strong entity will be shown with the double rhombus symbol. So this it will be indicating the identifier relationship. So here we have a identifier relationship that it will be existed between the strong entity as well as weak entity. Why it is identifier relationship means this dependent, it will gets the identity from the strong entity employee. That's what it is called as the identifier relationship. And one more condition is that when it is of the identifier relationship, that weak entity completely takes its participation in the relation. So here we have a participation constraint. It will be full for the dependent, whereas employee may take the partial participation. So this it is called as a identifier relationship. Such type of the conditions, constraints by following, it will be existing between employee as well as dependent. Then now here we have a different types of the attributes. We can notice the different types of the attributes here. In attribute, we have this is primary key attribute because that attribute with a single underline it will comes. And this is called as a composite attribute. Attribute with the further multiple identities of that attribute, it will comes here. And here we have a multi-level attribute. It is multiple attributes means locations. Again, we can create the multiple identity for the locations here. That is a street, colony, city, and all we can give. That it is a location identity. Multiple values can be created for this. And name, number with single underline means the primary key indication. Like that only we have a project. It will be having the primary key as well as a simple attribute. Even dependent also it is having all the simple attributes. So one of the attribute just it is called as a description attribute for dependent, but it is not giving the unique identity. Unique identity of this weak entity will be through the primary key of the strong entity, that is the employee. That SSN it will be giving here. So here we have a degree of the relations also we can notice. Now one of the entity it is taken and one relation it is existed. So this is called as a unary relation. Degree of the relation it is a unary. Now we have a two, we can take the two attributes. In between two attributes we have a relation. Two entities we have a relation. Then it is called as a binary relation. And degree of the relation it is a binary. Like that, we may go for the ternary also, where we have a three relationship degrees, three entities with one relationship, it will be existed. So next here we have a cardinality relations also we can notice. Now n is to 1. This is the cardinality relation. Now there is no cardinality relation. Just I'll be implementing the cardinality here. That n is to 1, this relation, it will be existed in between employee and department. Means that n multiple employees can participate in the relation works for the department. And here one department may have a multiple employees. And for multiple employees, one department may be there. That identity, N is to 1. One department, multiple employees. And like that, here we have a 1 is to 1. One department manages one employee. That is 1 is to 1 identity. And like that only we have a department and project. That one department with multiple projects. N number of projects it will be having. M is to N means multiple employees works on multiple projects. So these relationships are called as a cardinality relationships. Now here we have a complete identity of the ER diagram. In this ER diagram, we have taken the entities, attributes, and relations. And this is a derived attribute. Means number of employees. We can take the employee ID or SSN. It will give count of this. It will be giving the a number of employees. That's what this is sufficient. But here it will be having the derived. That means this will be calculated with the help of another attribute, inbuilt attribute here. So here we have this is the ER diagram, complete ER diagram of the company database. Then now next we have a conversion of this ER diagram into the tabular format. Usually what happens when we are taking the database for particular company or organization, first we have to collect the data, and that collected data will be organized and it will be analyzed and systematically how it is having the context relationships and description. And here we have some relations that everything by studying we have to organize in the systematic manner by representing in diagrammatical format, that is the ER diagram. The next step is conversion of this ER diagram into the tabular format here. So this ER diagram we can convert into the tabular format. In the next video, we can continue this one. Till then, see you.